What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and a massive shakeup at Infowars as probably the second most notable. I mean, obviously everyone knows Alex, but the second longest running host on the show that most people know, Owen Schroyer, has either been fired, depending on who you listen to, or has walked out on Infowars and sharing his grievances in a roughly 5.5 hour live stream, but most of it was just at the beginning. I do want to say I'm covering this because, well, it makes me sad. I like Owen and I like Alex. I've had both of these men on my shows, and they're both welcome back anytime. And I think that everyone online is rushing to pick a side here, but I think that this could probably just be a good thing for both guys. Owen revealed some more context as to why he left, and I think that that's probably worth talking about. He had, talked about he hadn't gotten a raise since 2018, but he understood because of the lawsuits. I understand all that too, but also in Owen's defense, life happens. And yes, you can both say that you understand, hey, they're trying to destroy Alex, he doesn't have extra money for me. But you can also say that, well, the cost of living since 2018 and 2025 has certainly gone up. And, that makes things harder. And he also shared some creative differences. Of course, the left is celebrating this, like he was fired and everything's falling apart. But I happen to think that both men can come out of this stronger. Owen can go out, build his own show, which I'm going to talk about that. He wants to build his own radio broadcast, wants to do his own thing. And Alex can, bring up another young talent. I think Owen was probably as big as he was ever going to get on Alex, on the Infowars network. And so it makes sense for him to move on too. Now the left is, of course, licking their chops. Alex Jones dumped Infowars host for being too anti-Trump. Now, this is something that Owen literally did say happened. Now, we don't know because Alex did not confirm or deny that yet, but he did allude to it multiple times. Mega conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has dumped far-right protege Owen Schroyer from his Infowars media empire, brutally claiming he was too anti-Trump. The right-wing broadcaster admitted he walked out mid-show last Thursday after reoccurring clashes with Jones. Shroyer, now former host of The War Room, spent 60 days in jail. Don't care. Alex was disrupting the show, Shroyer said on Rumble late on Monday. It just didn't go well. I reached my point of no return, so I walked out of the studio. I felt powerless in that moment. The only power I had was to walk off. It was a little upsetting that Alex went on to say I had a family emergency because there was no family emergency. Again, I understand both sides of this. Alex probably was just trying to cover for Owen and say, oh, he had to go, so he had some sort of thing. Owen said, well, that created some problems because his family was calling him saying, what's going on? I understand both sides here. I had a co-host once fall asleep during a live stream, and I did the best I could to cover for them too. And, it's just what you do. Shroyer said he wanted to announce his departure on Infowars so he could finish positively and directly address his audience about the decision. Now, look, this part here, I want Alex to see, hopefully. You have two big personalities here, two alpha personalities, and Owen Schroyer and Alex Jones. Basically, this situation has played out a million times before. I want to leave. Fine, go. You can't quit. I quit. You can't quit. You're fired. This kind of stuff happens all the time between A-type personalities. And I'm sure Owen said, hey, I want to give a goodbye to my War Room audience. And then Alex Jones, in the heat of the moment, basically said, nah, dog, you walked out on the show, you're done. I understand both sides, but I'm hoping that Alex and Owen can do this for the viewers. Alex, I'm asking you, hopefully, to reconsider not allowing him to say goodbye to his audience. I mean, he's been with Infowars for 8 years. He's been hosting that show for just under 8 years. And I think it would be good for the audience to see you two kind of make up and, support each other in your missions. I didn't see, obviously I couldn't watch the entire 5-hour live stream, but I thought Owen was pretty respectful. He obviously had a few grievances that was, he tried to downplay, but were pretty obvious. He was pretty obviously upset that, he hadn't even gotten a cost of living raise in, what did he say, 7 or 8 years. He was upset that Jones was interrupting his show. He was upset that Jones was essentially saying or complaining about his positions. And I actually, as a human and somebody who's been an employee, I think everyone can understand that. And I also understand Alex's position where he's like, yo, you quit, man. Get your stuff and go. But I'm hoping that Alex and him, cooler heads, can prevail and he can come back and do that. Shroyer said he wanted to announce his departure so he could finish positively and directly address his audience about the decision. He didn't express any interest in that. Shroyer said of Jones, he told me he didn't need me, and good luck. I will not be on Infowars. I don't know if ever again. I was left with no choice, but this is not how I wanted it to be. I did not want it to go this way. I tried everything, so it wouldn't go this way. The host also revealed personal criticism Jones had towards him, including questioning his loyalty to Donald Trump. Alex is not easy to work for, and that's fine. That's okay, Shroyer said. He says, I'm too negative. I'm pessimistic. I'm too anti-Trump. I said, okay, I'll just take some time off. I'll disappear. If Alex thinks I'm too negative, maybe he's right. Shroyer said he had a break and came back more positive, but problems with Jones soon flared up again. The same issues I had started up immediately as soon as I came back. Imagine someone staring over your back 24/7 every single day that I came back. It was either a guest I had, or I was told I had to have on last minute, or him coming into the studio. He wants me to cover this or cover that. I have to host his show for him because he's not in. There's nothing consistent for me. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And look, Owen's 40 years old, man. He wants to go build his own thing. I totally respect that. And, he's got to go out there. I saw he started a Give, Send, Go to help fund a move and a new studio. It raised almost $16,000 already. Oh my gosh, that's another $1,000. So $16,700 already. And I hope it raises a bunch because, you don't have to agree with basically everything that Owen says. I think he's a valuable voice in the community. He's always treated me with respect. He's, again, come on my show. Alex has come on my show. I like both of those guys. I don't have anything against either one of them. Harrison Smith saying Owen quit apparently. And then you have this misfit Patriot guy who's kind of a dork. He was fired. Alex told him not to come back after he walked off set. We don't necessarily know that. I think with situations like this is probably something that's been bubbling up for years, maybe longer. And there's really look, I like Owen. I like Alex. I wish him the best. Hey, as soon as he sets up his own show, not that he needs this, but he's 100%. Like, I'll have him on my show. I'll help, push people towards his show, just like I do for Alex. People say I'm disappointed in how he's handling this. Asking people to support him after Alex gave him a platform. I disagree with that. He walked away from a salary. He's going to need money. He's going to need support. I don't have any problem with him doing that at all. Too much panicking for Infowars audience. Hopefully he can find his roots again. The war room was great. Then Trump got elected and it turned into Trump bad. Israel 24/7. I don't know, because Owen, his show, I believe, overlaps mine. I think Owen should go do his own thing. And I can't imagine what it would be like if Rumble kept coming into my live stream and say, you have to host this person, you have to host that person. We don't like what you're saying. If all of that is true, right? If all of that is true. Says, Harrison said, that sucks, bro, but you'll kick, butt. Vanera, best is yet to come. It seems obviously Owen has a huge fandom. Nina says, best of luck to you. Too bad Alex couldn't be mature enough to let it end on a high note. I don't know. I don't want the audience to get divided over this. You know, the left is already saying, you know, Infowars host quits after being branded too anti-Trump. I mean, there's a lot to criticize Trump on. There's, you know, our over connection to certain foreign nations, or Owen talked about that. And I respect that. I think that's something that should be talked about. I haven't seen if Owen, I wanted to see if Owen did like any major, no, just basically, you know, his why I'm leaving thing. The clip about him walking off, I never saw that. He admitted that today. He said that today. But look, Owen's done incredible work. I think that he was screwed over on J6. He says, here's one thing. Here's a clip I'll share. It's about 2 minutes long.
Perfectly clear to Alex an hour ago. Now, I wanted to meet with Alex in the office tomorrow, and I told him that. I told him that last week after I left the studio. He texted me, and I said, Alex, let's talk next week. I said, I don't want to talk about it now. I'm done for the week. Let's talk next week.
Fair.
We communicated a little over the weekend, and then today I said, let's meet. Let's have a meeting tomorrow before your show, whenever you want. Let's meet tomorrow before your show, and maybe we can talk this out, work it out. And he said, no, let's just talk now. And so he called me. Now, my intentions, and I told him this, I wanted to go in this week. I wanted to go in tomorrow. And I wanted to finish this week, and I wanted to finish positively at Infowars. And, you know, I even said if he wanted me to kind of stick around like a satellite to go down with the ship, that I'd be willing to play some sort of a satellite role to go down with the ship and be a...
It sounds like Owen also may be worried about his job security, and I think that that's a fair thing to do. He also announced in this video that he's being sued much in the way that Alex is. I haven't seen any that report anywhere before, and just before right now.
Part of that and continue, you know, wearing the name on the front of the jersey for at least some semblance while it's still ongoing. And he didn't express any interest in that. And so he told me that he didn't need me and good luck. And that was that. That was that. So I wanted to make this announcement on Infowars. I wanted to make this announcement with Alex. That actually meant a lot to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to leave in a very positive fashion. I wanted to announce it to the Infowars audience on the Infowars airwaves. I wanted Alex and the crew and everybody to be there, and I wanted to shake Alex's hand. I wanted to thank him for everything. I wanted to just go down memory lane of all the things that we've done, but he wasn't interested in that, and he said, don't come in this week, so that was that.
So, again, I'm sure there was some heated words exchanged here. I like both these guys. So my kind of hope is that Alex and him can get together and do a proper send-off, and that Owen is wildly successful out on his own. He seems ready to be on his own, and that Alex continues to thrive, and he can, you know, be successful as well. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.